The discovery meeting, the first meeting with a potential client. I think it's the most important meeting in business. If it goes well, you might have a new client for decades. And if it goes badly, you've probably got nothing. Most of those books over my shoulder teach questioning frameworks, this question, then this question, then this question, when they teach salespeople how to conduct a discovery meeting. There's a couple of pretty serious problems with that approach. One is understanding the correct intent, and it's not apparent in those models. And the second is most salespeople struggle to follow those models. I'd like to introduce the concept of a story meeting and a different way to think about the discovery meeting, that first critical meeting. And I want to introduce a metaphor. I'd like you to imagine yourself, the salesperson, as a movie director. You're the movie director and you're looking to see if you can make your client the star of your new movie. But why should a famous actor even meet with you, the movie director? Well, if you think about it, there's only two reasons. The first would be you've had a lot of successful hits in their genre, so you have some success stories, or you've got a great idea, a great plot idea that they could star in. And that's the equivalent of an insight story. So you get the meeting with your insight story and your success story, and now you're going to consider your job in the meeting is to get that movie plot, to flesh out that movie that you're going to make with your client. Well, you probably remember that there's 4 parts to a business story. So we've got a setting, complication, a turning point, and a resolution. But the movie you're going to make has 4 different names to the parts. The setting is called the backstory. You need the backstory. And then we need to save the hero from dying, because in a movie, the hero nearly dies 3 or 4 times. So that's the complication. Then the hero succeeds. The hero wins the battle. And finally, we have the legacy. What's the follow-on consequence? What does it all mean? When the star of the movie is sitting on the porch at the end, that last scene with his bride or with one of his children, the hero's looking back at that victory and thinking, yeah, that's what it meant. That's the legacy. That's the legacy scene in your movie. So we need to get those 4 parts. We just need to have 4 conversations within the discovery meeting. We'll start with the backstory, and the way we do that is by telling our personal story mixed with our company story. That's the normal story that we would tell first, and we tell that story to ask the question, what about you? How did you, Mr. Movie Star, get into your role? How did your company get to where it got to? We're exchanging stories to get the backstory. Then I normally coach you to skip the complications and talk about the success. How is success going to look? Then we can come back, look at the ways the hero could nearly die, and introduce our lightsaber, our special tools, our magic keys that will prevent the hero from dying in their story. And then we need to talk about the legacy and the big picture. Where does it fit in with their whole company? What's it going to mean a couple of years or 5 years down the track? And what will it mean for their career? What will be the legacy of this project that we're going to do, this movie that we're going to shoot? So those are the 4 parts. If you can remember the 4 parts of the story, you can remember the 4 parts of the conversations that you need to have. Of course, there's going to be questions, but really we're thinking about this as a natural conversation in 4 parts. We don't have to get the 4 parts in the right sequence. We can put the story back afterwards. And the beauty of this is that the proposal that we write is simply that story. It's the movie plot. That's the proposal. The best proposals read like a movie plot. Furthermore, We take that story back to our boss, and the boss says, how did the meeting go? Most bosses, I can tell you, I was a sales manager for 20 years. Most of my clients share this frustration. Salesperson comes back from the meeting, can't answer the basic questions about the client's situation. But you can. You can lay out the entire plot, their backstory, how they're going to win with your products and services, and what it's really going to mean for their company. That story is going to help you get critical resources that you need internally to be able to deliver that project. Furthermore, your client, on receiving your story, your plot, will be able to take that within their organization and persuade the other stakeholders, maybe people that you don't even meet, so that people are being persuaded to make this movie. They like that plot because you've put it in a story format that they can understand. So when you think about the discovery meeting, think about being a movie director and making your client the star. The movie director and the star of the movie are on the same social level. You're not there helping or trying to have a relationship, which is what a lot of people think that sales is about. That puts you at a low social status. And you're not a detective using questions like an inquisitor to find out logically why they must buy from you, or someone challenging them and pretending like you know more about their business, because that's above them on a social level. No, you're meeting as equals. You're the director, they're the star, and you're going to do this together. And that's the right intent to have, and it's the right social status to have in the discovery meeting. And it's much easier to remember the Hollywood movie and the 4 parts of the movie that you need to have a conversation about to conduct a great discovery meeting. Tell me what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. I'm Mike Adams.